Hey, Basic Folk buddies. I want to tell you about a podcast I really love called Broken Record. Each week, hosts Justin Richmond and Leah Rose sit down for in-depth conversations with musicians from all kinds of genres and generations. You'll hear artists like Smokey Robinson, Billy Corgan, St. Vincent, Damon Albarn, Daryl Hall, and John Oates, and many more as they open up about their creative lives and the stories behind their most meaningful work. If you're a music fan, I highly recommend checking out Broken Record, where real musicians have real conversations. Happy Goodbye 2025 episode to you, Lizzie.
And unto you also, Cindy.
Basic Folk is where we have honest conversations with folk musicians on the bluegrass situation. I'm Cindy Howes, here with Lizzie. No, didn't we come up with a new Basic Folk slogan the other day? Basic Folk, it's not for everyone, but everyone is welcome. Let's talk about our newsletter. I need to send one out. That'll be my New Year's resolution for 2026. Send out a Basic Folk newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter. It's a once-a-month email at our website, basicfolk.com. There's also a link in the show notes. You can follow us on social media at Basic Folk Pod, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We are also a listener-supported podcast. Shout out to all of our supporters who give like $5, $10, $15 a month. We did not do a fundraiser this year, so you're welcome. You did not get a Giving Tuesday email from us.
In these trying times, I didn't email you is my love language.
Yes, please. So you can drop us a couple bucks every month. There is a link in the show notes or basicfolk.com/donate.
The dollars couldn't be put to better use. We do this on a shoestring. Sometimes we need to buy a microphone or a little cable.
Those cables are getting littler and littler.
And more diverse. One of my least favorite trends of the past 10 years.
Diversity in cables.
Yeah. Every cable is different. Every brand has their own one that you have to buy a new one every 9 months.
Are they going to put a stripe on the pride flag for all of the different cables?
Like a chrome stripe on the pride flag.
So cool.
Also, that could be great representation for cyborgs, which I sort of identify with in terms of gender identity.
So we got a lot of stuff to get into today. First of all, we have a really excellent roundtable with Kaïa Kater, Isa Burke, and Olivia Ellen Lloyd and Lizzie No. But first, let's talk about our favorite and top episodes of 2025. So Basic Folk's top episode was Ani DiFranco and Carsie Blanton, recorded live on Cayamo.
That conversation, I feel, has had an outward ripple effect on so many areas of my life and how I think about music and art and being a woman artist and being in community and what's possible in conversation. So I'm so grateful we got to interview Ani and Carsie, who to me are some of our contemporary legends of folk music.
Shout out to Carsie for having a hell of a year.
I wrote about Carsie for my year-end coverage in the bluegrass situation, so check that out when you get a chance. She's doing amazing work both on and off stage.
So, of course, we're going to play the clip about us talking about periods.
Yeah!
Just a couple gals talking about menstrual cycles in front of like 100 people in a room on a boat. No big deal.
In your book, Ani, No Walls and the Reoccurring Dream, which has anyone read that book? Amazing. There is a chapter about noticing how your creativity is aligned with your menstrual cycle, and you've described the most creative part of your cycle as the window. How has your window changed as you've gotten older, as your body has changed, and as your cycle has changed?
Wait, when is the window? Which part?
PMS, baby.
What?
You don't find that
No, my
PMS is a driver?
My PMS is like fully in bed eating brownies for 10 days. 100% not creative, like TV shows only.
Wow.
Mine is like ovulation is like, oh, I'm interested in the world. Let's see about it. Let's go out there and have thoughts.
Let's go get some on us. Yeah.
For me, ovulation is for the upbeat country songs.
Okay.
And the PMS is for the moody what is the world even? Folk tunes.
Yes to all of us.
God, bodies are amazing.
Hell yeah.
I mean, so yeah, my window has closed. Years ago, closed. So similar with the creativity, the songs, I could always count on them. Kind of on a cyclical basis. There was stuff to work out. And now I'm just like, I could write a song or not, really.
Wow. Can I ask like a kind of related question? Because I know your music pretty well, Ani. I don't know. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I find for my songwriting process, my creative energy has been very tied to my erotic energy.
Yes.
And that a lot of my songs have come out of like love affairs. And I wonder if that's true for you. I can't think of any songs in particular, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one and the same, isn't it? These passions that move through us, that use our bodies to become themselves and our instruments and our life. Yeah, I feel like menopause is a blessing. I'm just going to call it a blessing.
Yes.
Let's go with that.
I'm not even going to use that balancing word.
Can't wait.
Because I've had a long, good, solid run of curses. And I'm going with the blessing on this one. Yes. Especially because it's so, looked down on. Like you're less than, you've lost, you're on your, you're done. And I mean, for me, the blessing that menopause brought me is to not feel everything everyone in the world is feeling with them.
I'm looking forward to that.
Woo, can't wait.
Thank you.
Seriously, yes.
Always having to ask, do I want to kiss that person or do I need to write a song?
Or do I want to punch them in the face?
So intense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful job to feel with everyone, but it's heavy and it's exhausting. And so it's a relief for me these days, and it's so interesting to like, whoa, this is maybe more akin to the male experience for a lot of people in a lot of ways. Like, I can feel for you, but I'm not right in your body. I am,
Like you don't just have the screams of the death of capitalism in the back of your mind all day?
It's just it's a little dial.
Sounds cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. So less songs, but I'm okay with that.
You've got a lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
Yeah. You're one of the songiest, actually, of all of us.
Okay, lest we be accused of never including men on the podcast, I want to point out a really beautiful moment that Cindy shared with artist Morgan Toney earlier this year, because I want you to see how cool it is to work with Cindy behind the scenes. Cindy is such a great interviewer, and I feel like I've learned everything I know about podcasting from her. And this Morgan Toney moment is just such a great insight into how Cindy makes guests feel comfortable right up top. And her rules are like, become friends first, but then always ask one more question. Morgan goes into a little bit of how he started to get more familiar with his Indigenous musical heritage. And Cindy could be like, okay, that's nice, back to my planned questions. But no, she goes deeper and then one step deeper until they kind of get to some incredible insights about how to connect with your cultural heritage as a marginalized artist making art right now. So this is Cindy's like great meet cute moment with Morgan Toney.
What did your family life look like growing up? I know that your mom has since passed away, but you've also mentioned some uncles, Uncle Bart and Uncle Fabian. Who were you spending time with in your family when you were growing up?
I spent most of my time with my Uncle Bert and and Uncle Fabian. Uncle Fabian was just an amazing guy to be around because he was a lover of music. Like, if you go to his home, he just had this huge record collection. I remember he was talking to my mother, and I was very young, but I still remember their conversation. And he told her, I have a job to do with Morgan. I want to make sure that Morgan gets to hear the real music. He wanted to expose me to like live instruments. He brought me over to his house one day, and I remember he had this big flat screen and the surround sounds and whatever. But I walked in and I was like, this is interesting because I know what music sounded like from the radio, but like I was hearing like screaming. I couldn't figure out what it was because I was just a kid, but there was like thousands and thousands of people screaming and live music, drums, guitars, bass, everything, like a big choir. And he told me, because I forgot about it, but he told me later on in life that when I came into his living room, my mouth was just wide open. And I sat down right in the kitchen. It was the Phil Collins Farewell Tour concert he did in Paris in 2004, I believe. But that was the first moment I really got exposed to real music. I spent a lot of time with him, and he was a big supporter throughout my life. He passed away too. He was just so big support. And same with mom. I would spend a lot of time with mom and just being with her and her teaching me how to cook. She was a great cook. Uncle Bert, he's still around. He's a travel agent now, so we got to travel a lot together.
Is he hooking you up?
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, definitely.
So it was those 3 siblings.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what traditional music looked like for them growing up?
For them, I don't think it was, they were not exposed to it because they were a little bit younger in years. Like, when they grew up, the Indian residential school era passed. But in a way, it kind of didn't. It just got moved to, they just did it a different way. And they call it the Indian Day School. And pretty much the same thing. Lots of horrible stuff happened in the Indian Day schools. My mom.
In your mom's generation?
Yeah. And those 3 were pretty much the same age. And they didn't really get to speak the language. They were not fluent whatsoever. And they didn't really sing or dance because they would be punished if they were. So it was just one of those things that kind of skipped us. But I think I'm slowly picking it up.
When did the El Nu traditions come back into the communities?
I would say it came not that long ago. I don't know for sure, but like I'm just thinking about like after the Indian residential school era, none of us, from what I believe and what I've heard, none of us really sang any songs or dance. After that era was the Indian Day School era, same thing. It was after that era and probably would have been in the 80s, 90s, and so on, if I'm correct, that our music started to come back. And there's a man, his name is George Paul, a great, great guy. He made one of the most important songs ever to come out of the Mi'kmaq Nation, and he calls it the Mi'kmaq Honor Song. So he was thinking about his past, because he was an Indian residential school survivor as well, and he remembered all the stuff that went down there. And when he was in a powwow in Alberta, a vision came to him, and then that vision came back to him later in life. And this vision showed a whole bunch of Indigenous people coming together, dancing. And he remembered that vision, and he remembered the times he spent in Indian residential schools, and he started to cry. And then that cry had a rhythm to it, a little pulse. And then words seemed to come to him, and then the chant came to him. And pretty much the song translates to like, let us not forget who we are. Like, we are Mi'kmaq people. We have our own language, we have our own songs, we have our own dance. We have to bring that back. So when that song came to him on that mountain, he brought it back to the Mi'kmaq people. And then he made a promise to himself that I'm bringing this song back. I'm bringing my language back. I'm bringing my dance back. And after that, when we started to pick that up and music came back to our communities.
So that song is not that old.
No, it's in the 80s.
It's on your first record.
Correct. Yeah.
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 Oh, cool. Oh, my God. Morgan.
It's so cool. And that song's not really old either. That song was written in the 80s, as far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. The 1980s. For people listening in the future. So 2025 was a pretty awesome year for the podcast. We got to go on a couple trips. Cayamo, where we talked to Ani and Carsie, also Mary Gaucher and Jamie Harris, Susan Warner and John Mook. Those episodes are all available in our podcast feed. We are going to be there again in 2026.
You heard it here first. We will be at sea.
I wanted to talk about our trip to Alaska, which we were brought to Alaska by this really wonderful concert series called Parlor in the Round.
We love you, Kevin and Michelle.
It was so eye-opening to experience Alaska from that lens of music community, because I don't know if you know this, but there aren't that many people in Alaska. We did a live show in Anchorage, which is the big city. We went to Haines and we went to Skagway, which are two small communities that that don't get a lot of entertainment that come in the wintertime. And that's one of the mission statements of Parlor in the Round, is to not only lift up Alaska talent with national talent, but also to bring community-centered entertainment to small towns where it's like, we did the show in Skagway, and the next day we went to the coffee shop and everybody there knew who we were.
I've never been more famous. I was so grateful that they brought us out, because we got to learn a lot about what it's like to be a touring musician based out of Alaska. So amazing to hear Annie Bartholomew's music and her stories and her connection to Alaskan history. The audiences that were so grateful that we came, like, I can't believe you're here in Haines, we kept hearing. But for me, I was like, this is one of the most beautiful and interesting places I've ever been. Like, of course I want to be here. It was a good meeting of the minds.
We will have a Parlor in the Round episode in 2026. I just need to get my shit together, Kevin. Don't worry about it, okay? Another thing that happened this year for the Basic Folk universe is that a new podcast was launched, hosted by Nathan Evans Fox and Lizzie No, called Yolidarity Social Club.
In a short time, what was like a goofy idea between two friends has become something that I'm really proud of and excited about going into next year. Nathan and I are buds, songwriter buds here in Nashville, and we wanted a little space to yap about some of the cultural bullshit that goes on in country music and some of the exciting organizing that can go on there. So we started this little Yolidarity Social Club podcast, and we've done some events, and we've started planning potentially some related tour dates for next year. There's going to be updates, but I'm really grateful to everyone that has listened, and everyone who came to our Americana Fest party. It turns out there's a lot of people on the left in roots music who want to become friends and want to get together. So I'm finding that super encouraging.
Okay, and the last thing, let's talk about this podcast's new baby. Basic Folk has a baby. Her name is Francie. She looks exactly like me, and I feel like a little guilty in like how much pleasure I take from the fact that like the baby looks like me.
Guys, this baby is one of the lights of my life. Her cheeks, her hair, her laugh, her sense of humor, her dumpling shape when she's wrapped up in homemade knitted items that her grandmother made. Come on.
Do you want to know my top songs that I sing to Francie?
Go.
So the top song that I sing to Francie is Hush Little Baby. There is a part in the song where they talk about, if that cart and bull turns over, Mama's gonna get you a dog named Rover. But we say, Mama's gonna get you a dog named Puddles.
Speaking of Puddles, how's she doing?
She's better.
Okay. The corn cob incident of 2025 is going to go down as one of our historic moments on the pod.
Hootie's family came and visited after the baby was born, and they made like a huge amount of food, like a barbecue style food, including corn on the cob. At some point, Puddles ingested a corn cob, which is very lethal for dogs. So that was in June.
I can't believe you actually tracked down the source of the corn cob, because when I heard about the story, it was the x-ray says Puddle has ingested a corn cob. It is December. We haven't had corn for months.
Yep. And the surgeon said that can happen. It just sat in her giant mastiff stomach for 6 months until on Thanksgiving, listen, I'll take the heat on this one. I fed her 5 giant dinner rolls because it was really fun to throw them in her mouth. So
I can imagine.
the working theory is that all those dinner rolls pushed the corn cob from her stomach into her small intestine, where it traveled all the way through, but it got stuck at the end.
Thanks, Miss Frizzle. That was disgusting. Oh my God. No, I'm laughing because Puddles is okay.
Puddles is okay. She did a dumb dog thing, and her dumb human helped her get there.
I love you both.
Ugh. What a terrible time.
Oh my God, I can barely breathe. That was so funny.
2025 has been a big year for Lizzie, going on jogs and coming home with stray animals.
Yes, I was involved in...
Not once, not twice, 3 times.
It has happened a few times. My latest little miracle...
Didn't leave.
He is actually napping on the couch next to me. Listeners, this is not the best time for me to be adopting a dog, but sometimes when you're out for a jog and a beautiful little shadow runs across the street and like jumps in your arms, you have no choice.
Did he jump in your arms?
Almost right away. He like ran right up to me, and when I knelt down, he like leapt. Like he...
Oh.
Yeah, he chose me. So I'm in this sort of extended foster situationship love match with this little pit bull puppy named Dino.
Well, congrats.
Thanks.
Can you tee up this roundtable chat?
In Trump's America, it can feel so challenging to know which media you can trust, whose takes you can really take home and take to the bank, so to speak. There is no one I believe in more than the members of my group chat. Isa Burke, Olivia Ellen Lloyd, and Kaïa Kater. I trust these gals with my life. The number of times I have been talked off of a ledge by these friends, and I'm sure they would say the same about this chat, are infinite. All jokes aside, like the support of these women has meant everything to me in terms of my survival, my inspiration in music, and like my motivation. They're incredible musicians and all very, very funny. So I turned to them at the end of 2025 to hear their hot takes, what they're grateful for, what they learned, and what 4 poppin' musicians were up to in this crazy year in the industry.
Hope you enjoy. It's Kaïa Kater, Isa Burke, Olivia Ellen Lloyd, and Lizzie No on Basic Folk.
Basic Folk listener, you are in for a treat because I have assembled a murderer's row of folk artists, change makers, thought leaders, and dare I say, pinup gals. Yes, that's right. It's my group chat featuring Basic Folk alumni, Olivia Ellen Lloyd, Isa Burke, and Kaïa Kater. You guys can talk now.
Hey. We're so silent and respectful.
I know.
This rocks.
It's so good. Welcome to our year-end episode. So Cindy had this idea, and Cindy, we love you, Cindy. She's homesick right now with her bebe. We had this idea to do a Basic Folk year-end wrap-up, year in review, put it all out there, gals episode. So it may or may not be New Year's when you're listening to this, but bring a New Year's spirit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Let's get into it. What's the state of folk music in 2025?
God, who wants to take that one?
Isa, to you.
Wow.
I think when I think about the state of folk music in 2025, I mean, I feel like I'm kind of of two minds about it. So on the one hand, I feel like the state of folk music is kind of impossible to separate from the state of music in general, which is multiple crises happening at all times. We are all getting pummeled into the ground by Spotify and Live Nation and AI, and economically things are in a tough place. I'm just gonna start by leaping right into it. But then on the other hand, I feel like I think we're in a time where a lot of people are thinking about how to be a good community member and what it means to be part of a community. And I think that folk musicians are maybe better equipped than other musicians for that task, because folk music is music for folks. It's community-based music.
So can you dig deeper into that in terms of the day-to-day? How do you feel like you as a folk artist operate in a more community-minded way than, like, say you might have to if you worked in another genre or lane?
Yeah, I think, well, especially like in the specifically like the traditional music world, like that's kind of the background that I come from, and I like where I live now in Durham, North Carolina, there's like a really big old time music scene, and so there just are like there's a lot of community music stuff happening, and so I think that really like brings together like so-called professional musicians and people for whom music is not like a primary source of income or even a source of income at all. And you know, when you're at like an old time festival or like a sacred harp singing gathering, it's like the economic part of music is not even really part of the equation. And I think like having that perspective on music compared to someone for whom music is primarily a commodity or like a job, I think it's a really helpful like corrective for me.
Yes.
I think.
Now, I'd like to ask a question of Kaïa Kater, a folk musician for whom performing live music is, as far as I know, their primary job and occupation. How are you seeing the changes in the economy, the changes in people's attitudes towards work, show up in your life on the road as a full-time touring musician?
Well, I might say something slightly controversial, but it's also piggybacking off of Isa's very astute observations, which is that I think we're seeing a lot of recession music. And by that I mean music that is very careful and deliberately kind of apolitical, and it sort of has the guise of being I don't know, like dangerous or provocative, but in reality outlaw-ish. But I think like maybe, and I'm not, you know, totally maligning social media. Like we all have our individual relationships with it, but I think we're in an era of aesthetic, you know, sometimes in tandem with substance, but sometimes over substance. And so I think, you know, there's like a marketability in seeming very edgy, and I think it's edged its way into folk music. And, you know, I'm not calling anybody out specifically, but I have noticed that it does sometimes feel like there's a lot of hype around certain people or certain albums, and I try my best to really listen and agree, and sometimes I can't see the material substance in it. And I've said this to you guys before. It's like I'm eating air. It's like I keep consuming it, but I'm not getting the nutrients that I feel like I'm supposed to have, especially from a genre like folk music.
We are all nodding heavily. I feel like I've texted y'all from a couple of shows this year with this sort of sentiment of like, this artist is now huge in folk music or Americana or this roots niche. And I feel like there, not to be like the old lady in the chat, but like there was a time when being a folk artist was about kind of your message. Maybe I'm naive about that, but I feel like, yeah, we are seeing a time, I think, when folk has some money coming in. Americana has some money coming in. Like the like global success of country music lately has like trickled down to folk and Americana. So there is a little bit of room for the like, I'm sorry to say, money grabby, aesthetic only roots music wrapped around a commercial core.
Yeah.
Olivia, who are some of the people that you've seen play this year or whose records you've heard where you're like, that's it? That person has something to say. I'm interested in what they do next, like them as a songwriter, artist, more than just like, oh, I like that track, how that sounds.
Yeah. I loved Madison Cunningham's record. It really grew on me. And as everyone in this chat knows, I'm a words and singing before anything. And Madison brings such a like different quality to her music. It's very arranged and beautiful and lush. And I was really taken in by the creative choices that she made, and also how personal the record managed to be without revealing too much about herself. Like, I really admire how much emotional truth Madison was able to bring forth in that record while still seemingly protecting herself and other people. That was a big one for me this year.
We had a great talk on Basic Folk. Madison is, I think, our next guest, and she's such a cool guest. Definitely a girl's girl. We laughed, we cried, we talked about death. Like, wow, what a mind.
And
I'm so excited to listen to that.
It's great. And the other record, which is very commercial, that's my favorite this year, was Tyler Childers' record.
Oh yeah.
Which just goes to show you that if you can stick to values-based music that is rooted in your truth, you can crack charts and make music like that's gonna last. Like that record is gonna be a record that people's kids listen to and say like, I was raised on this music.
Yeah, big country record. Now, do we think that's possible for women, chat? Where's the female Tyler Childers?
You went there.
And there it is.
No, I mean, I admire Tyler greatly as an artist.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the machine, you don't become the massive star that Tyler is right now without a team and an organization and quite a bit of financial support behind you. Like, God bless. Artists that great should have that. I don't know that there is a female or queer or non-binary equivalent in this scene. Maybe
not somebody selling at the level that Tyler is, that is also writing at the with the substance that he's writing at. And I hate the A word, so I won't say authenticity because I don't think that's quite right. It's just like he's drawing from the same well he's always been drawing from. Yeah. It's the same well. It gets deeper. He's been like reading Eastern philosophy and talking about it in his vernacular, which was like, as somebody who's from that same region, was like very healing. I could see S.G. Goodman possibly getting close. This year has been a big year. That's another record that I really loved. Heaven Song is incredible. But yeah, I don't think there's anyone with the level of like writing prowess and
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think like Brandi Carlile's been there and beyond for a minute. I don't think you do see as many like front person singer songwriter, like primarily songwriters that are not men ascending to the levels of a stadium. I don't really see it happening in Americana anymore. Honestly, most of the like amazing women writers in this genre like are making it work in a different way. Like, but it's just interesting to think about because it's like, it's not to say that that's the only good model of success, but
yeah, it's definitely interesting to see like what kinds of success are available to different people. And like ultimately I think it always is like in order for someone to be successful in like a really meaningful and lasting way, like they have to be kind of unique, like they have to be presenting something that feels really specific to them. And so therefore their model for success will kind of be its own thing. But yeah, I mean, I think it is like, it's always worth pointing out. I know we all know this, but like, you know, a man will always, like, men are able to be, and the art that they create is able to be viewed as more universal. And it's certainly like a white man versus a woman of color. It's like even more,
yes.
Yeah, it becomes even more the case that like the closer you are to the societal like default person, i.e. a straight white American man, the more you are able to have your story seen as universally applicable.
Put a pin in that.
Yeah.
For those of us that are not that default person, what are some of the coping mechanisms and strategies that you've come up with this year to like make your life as a musician more doable?
Well, I can jump in on that. You know, I came in kind of two-footed into this conversation because I think it's a really important conversation to have with really smart and cool people. And I include the listeners in that. But I think, you know, for me, it's been about finding those artists who I am really incredibly potently inspired by and just really following them and like trying to go to their shows and connecting with them. You know, I'll say Anna Tivel put out an album this year called Animal Poem that just rocked my shit. It was so good.
Yes.
And her lyric writing is incredible. And, you know, it not to come off as patronizing, but like her growth as an artist, to be able to see that is so inspiring. And, you know, like Isa was saying, I think we're, you know, white men who have success in this industry, they're kind of allowed a certain 3D aspect to their personalities and to their music, where, you know, we talk about, you know, so-and-so writing about their divorce and going through this and going through that. And like, wow, they started off here. And I think that kind of depth is often not afforded to women, non-binary people, especially people of color, women of color. And, you know, I think it's kind of like, oh, you're writing about one thing and that one thing is race, you know, and like we're not like and yeah, we fucking do write about that, but like there's so much more that we have to say and to offer, and we're not offered that same grace in return. And so yeah, I mean, I just will say, I think I try to follow and listen to records that inspire me and drive me. Sometimes they make me jealous. I'm like, I wish I'd written that song. And that's a really good way to drive oneself to write better music. And I mean, I'll shout out Olivia Ellen Lloyd here, put out a really brilliant album here in the Lord's year of 2025 that is so dynamic and so complex and really interesting. And, you know, I think maybe it's like we take it down to the local level, or like the level of our friends and peers who are making really incredible art, because that's where I'm drawing inspiration from.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm a big fan of Do It Myself.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job, Olivia. It's so cool to have known you when the song You was just like a secret SoundCloud. And then now to see so many people all over the world be like, oh my God, who is this songwriter? Very cool.
You know, and that song was written in a community like song circle situation. And like,
tell us about that.
Yeah, I like was in a like an online songwriting class. I was having some writer's block, and School of Song, which is based out of LA, was doing a class with Courtney Marie Andrews, who I've still never met, but am a huge fan of.
What a boss.
Speaking of, the record's not out, but the singles she's put out so far are beautiful. And she was a really good teacher. Like, I've taken a couple of those classes and seen them more as sort of like, I get to watch. I won't, like, a couple of the other ones I've taken, I've been like, oh, I'm like watching my favorite songwriter try to explain a process that is actually mysterious to them as well, which I can relate to. And Courtney, I think, is actually very intentional about her process and really had figured out a great way of explaining some tips for getting unstuck specifically. And so I wrote the beginning of that song there. I thought it was done. I brought it to Mike Robinson, my producer and like creative partner, and he, you know, changed a verse into a bridge, and suddenly we had this like power ballad that has become kind of the cornerstone of the record, and also was like, frankly, an important self-reflection for me. I didn't really know that that kind of regret was like sitting inside of me and something that I needed to like deal with. And so the song sort of informed my own healing process, which is really cool.
Cool.
I do think largely, as someone who released music in 2025, I do think that this was a year of cynicism in music and in non-commercial music too. And there is an opportunity there. Like, I think the worst of of what we have to offer societally was laid pretty bare this year, and pretty out in the open. The combination of a lot of political upheaval and our extremely online world has led to like just a cynical year, a year where people are being actually pretty honest about the vibes first. And I've also watched our sort of lesser capitalistic machines, those smaller indie machines that are meant to be community-based, let us know who they really are and start to align more with big business and industry, which is likely invested in those purposefully and cynically, and we're watching those returns come in. Yes, and ma'am. I think that has been difficult as someone releasing music this year who's received a lot of critical acclaim. Let it always be critical acclaim. I don't know if we can say that on Basic Folk, but
and you have to let us all know when that happens so we can support you from afar.
Renaming the group chat as critical acclaim immediately.
Listen, if we can't say clitoris on Basic Folk, what even is free press for women in 2025?
Literally.
I think what we have now, this has been happening since the pandemic, since we became an incredibly online culture. And this is 5 years in now. And everyone is starting to, my sister who like isn't, you know, in on culture, she's a busy single mom, was like, I'm deleting Spotify. And I was like, okay, radical ass. Cool. Like, I think what this means is like this year for me at least was an invitation to imagine what my art can be without these structures that keep telling me that they're there for me, but continually not only let me down as an artist, but let me down as a listener.
Yes.
And let me down as I consume art as a form of self-care, and like I am being, as a consumer, let down. And so if 2025 was a cynical year to release music, and by the way, I'm really happy with the reception of my record, but still,
you crushed it.
Then maybe 2026 is a year for us to like imagine a new pathway.
Okay, I love this.
And a larger door.
I will say that like in the New Year's pattern, this is my moment to say I anticipated this, released a live album at the beginning of the year because I'm tired of this shit and have been. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of the vibes first, merit never, lack of content, smoothed over pop garbage that gets like stamped with approval in roots music sometimes. Also, I'm a messy bitch that lives for drama, and like I wanted to like put something really raw and real, but still potent out. Like,
oh no,
while
we lost you for a second.
I got a phone call. I wanted to put out something really raw and potent out so that I could tour on it. Like, it wasn't about selling records. It was about putting down like a standard of like, this is what you can expect when you come to my live show, come to a live show. Like, it's going to be unfiltered and it's going to be fun. Trying to like hone those as we go with the show.
I also thought it was really cool that you called the live album Commie Country, because it was very like, it's a statement. Yeah, off the top that I don't find maybe a lot of other artists in country, or definitely like some, but I thought that was a really cool move. You know,
agreed.
Thank you. And it was on purpose because like I think that part of like the structures that are supposed to show up for us and don't are the genre divisions themselves. Like, the more we get pigeonholed into easily definable boxes, the easier it is to be treated poorly. And here's, like, it is weird to, like, look back at TikToks from last year. I had this TikTok from when Beyonce announced her country album. And I was like, I'm stoked about this. You know, this is going to be a big commercial project. It's not our, like, little roots niche. But what it's going to do is, like, shine a light of visibility on how segregated country music is, because the vast majority of music fans have no idea. And look what's happening. Like, people are truly, like, sick of it. Like, people are making fun of how these good old boys get away with making boring music. And that's on Beyonce releasing an album and, like, a more integrated crowd suddenly having an interest in country and roots music. So, like, I think that delayed effect is going to be really positive. But it also means, like, now's our time to, like, attack the castles.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you see that politically too. Like, I mean, shout out NYC, Zoran.
Yeah.
Mamdani just won the mayoral election, you know, on a platform of democratic socialism, which is fascinating and, like, a really good omen, like everyone was saying, you know?
Yeah.
God, I hope he causes a lot of white flight. I'm saying it openly. I'm manifesting white flight in 2026 so that I can return to the city of my birth.
I'm just saying, none of these nice white liberals let me sing a coal mining protest song at their rally, but I did do that at Zoran Mamdani's rally in Forest Hills. Like,
well, like, yes,
he's for the working girlies, and if I was ever one, that's who I am.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's threatening to leave New York, like, go with God. You will not be missed.
Literally,
then
why
Lizzie
did you
and I can
ever
come back?
I would love to someday. I just want a little pied-à-terre in Queens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Kaïa would know.
Yeah, all these finance bros need to weapons run out of New York in their little jackets, you know.
Hey, Kaïa, how's your banjo pedagogy evolving these days? For those who don't know, Kaïa teaches banjo lessons, sometimes privately, sometimes on online platforms. The title is Claw and Order. The one and the only. Many may imitate, but she is the one and only Claw and Order banjo instructor. How's it all going over there?
Yes, and may I just say, dun dun. Dun dun to you. Dun, 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 dun. Bon, bon. Things are good in the Claw and Order world. I think there's more and more of an interest in from folks who want to play the clawhammer banjo, and the reason I wanted to make this series free on YouTube and not on, like, a Patreon, which, by the way, totally respect artists having Patreons. You should get paid for your work. But I sort of felt like there was not, from what I could see, like a clawhammer teaching series from a Black instructor that was free and open to the public. And so that's what I wanted to spend some time on. And I found a lot of joy in it, actually. And, like, thinking back about, how do you teach a song, or how do you teach an original song? And, what are people struggling with and wanting to learn. And I've said this before, but I'll say it publicly on the podcast, that I do offer free and low cost lessons to Black folks who are wanting to learn the banjo, private lessons. But, a girl is busy. And so, if you want to learn and I'm not available, please check out Claw and Order. And also, every time I talk, I want to shout out another album that I loved. So I'll do it right now. I really like Justin Robinson and Rhiannon Giddens' album, What the Blackbird Said to the Crow, which is an album of North Carolina fiddle and banjo music. And what's really cool about this album is they went to the places where those tunes were born, and they recorded locally in different regions in North Carolina, which I find to be really beautiful. And their friendship also is, like, so compelling to me, having been young kids growing up in quite a predatory folk scene. And so I think there's a lot of beauty in that resurrection and the fact that they've, you know, let the public in on the beauty of like them making music together, which feels very intimate to me. It feels like a long time coming, you know?
You know what's interesting to me? I love to hear your take on any album, but I also am picking up on this theme actually with different friend groups of mine where politically the temperature among Black friends is like, we have so much going on, we can barely keep up with it. We are doing, not all of us, but many of the folks that like I'm close with, it's like we're doing the work. We're making the new world. The challenge is how do we let people in a way that is useful and fair and open source and also values our labor. And like that hopelessness and nihilism that I think is sweeping the broader culture, honestly, none of my homies can relate. We are too busy making art and breaking the rules and fostering relationships. So I think it is exciting to go into 2026, like knowing that there's so many people that are like satellite members of our community who like are, I think, getting it so right already. That reminds me of the show that we went to see by J.V. Montgomery. Kaïa, can you tell our listeners a little bit about what was the title of it? It was about the drowned towns.
Yeah, I believe the project is called Black Lake Town. And it's this artist, this wonderful artist and saxophonist, J.V. Montgomery, who, and, you know, researcher, many slashes, who looked into, was researching man-made lakes and rivers that were constructed on top of historically Black towns. And where the residents were driven out in order for the state government, federal government to create lakes and rivers. And so he would put he had all this kind of equipment, like contact mics,
and like even one of them was waterproof. It was an underwater contact mic that he was able to like affix to like a sunken log.
Yes, exactly. And so there were like certain vibrational tones that he was able to get, and then he made this beautiful like multidisciplinary piece that had all these drones like and these like ancestral noises and sounds. And it, you know, Lizzie and I went to see the one of the shows in Nashville, and it was very emotional, you know. And he was kind of speaking, he would talk about a certain town, and he would show a map of the historically Black town, and then he would overlay a map of like the water over it. And he was speaking, I think, in a very measured way, but right at the end, he really like experienced it himself, and we experienced it through him, and it was very emotional. Yeah.
It was almost overwhelming. And I think it's so cool. I mean, it's kind of a trip to realize that those vibrational sounds that you're talking about are the echoes of like homes and potentially even like the remains of ancestors. So they're like, they're creating a resonance in the water. That sound is being recorded. And then those sound waves are getting filtered through the blues scale, which is to me another way of translating sound into contemporary living Black people. Like we filter it through the blues and then share it in a room full of people who've come to learn, like that's transformation in real time. I thought that was such an amazing example of taking history and bringing it into right now. Speaking of sound, Isa, I want you to tell us about the audio femme workshop that you did.
Oh, yeah.
And like, can you explain what the workshop was, who was involved, and like why you care about getting more women into the studio?
Yes, would love to talk about this. So this is a project that that I did with my friend and friend of the show, Carolyn Kendrick.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, the legend, genius, one of my oldest friends. We met our first week of college. And we had kind of like, we had this idea a number of years ago, and it took until this summer to finally make it happen for real. But we had kind of like independently had the same idea. Like Carolyn and I were hanging out one day, and I think she talked about wanting to get like a bunch of women and gender expansive musicians together to work on recording and engineering and producing. And I was like, I have literally had this idea also. And so then we started talking about doing some kind of project together. And you know, for a variety of reasons, it took a long time for it to get off the ground, but we ended up doing the first like official one. Carolyn did a little like pilot run last year, but this year we got the first official one. We made it happen. So we're calling the project the Gender Equity Audio Workshop.
Oh,
and
class.
Yeah, and it was like two days. It was like a half day and then a full day and then a half day. And we had a mentor, Allie Rogers is her name. She works at here in North Carolina, near where I live, at Sylvan Esso's studio, Betty's. Ooh. And I met Allie because I was recording on an album that was being recorded at that studio, and she was engineering, and I was like, oh, she's the one. She's the person who we need to hire to be like the guest mentor for the audio workshop, because she was like, regardless of gender, one of the best engineers I've ever worked with. Mm-hmm. She just like so competent, such a great vibe. And so, yeah, I was like, Carolyn, I found her. And so Carolyn and I went back and forth a lot about like how to figure out who should participate, because we knew that we could just invite a bunch of our friends. But the studio space where we were doing it, we did it at Great North Sound Society, which is an amazing studio in Maine in like a converted old farmhouse. And so we were like, even like the first year, we know there will be more interest than we can have people. And we also want it to be equitable, and we also want it to be not just our friends. So we ended up just like putting it out on social media and asking people to apply. And then also very important to note, we wanted the workshop to be free. Mm-hmm. And we were able to get a little bit of grant funding for that. And we are kind of talking about ways that we can do more fundraising, because it's not just about like gender equity. It's also about financial equity, because like specifically production and engineering are skills that are so hard to teach yourself.
Yes.
You can teach yourself how to record at home if you have like the time and energy. I'm really not good at teaching myself skills like that. Like I need kind of a more structured environment with other people in order to learn those kind of skills. And like, so the amount that you can learn at home is, you know, it's challenging, but also you can't get into a professional studio and learn like how a patch bay works without like going to school for it, or like lucking into a mentorship kind of relationship with someone who has the time and money to like teach you those skills. So it's just,
can I just pause and say that like when we say luck into a mentorship, if you've been listening to Basic Folk long enough, what we mean by that is like the type of favors men do for each other. These types of like informal mentorships, apprenticeships are not happening for women. Okay, go on.
Yeah, that is a great point. So we took a bunch of applications, and we were planning to kind of filter out anyone who seemed like really not a good fit in some way, and then just pick at random. And so that's what we did. We just selected the participants from the people who we thought would be a good fit, which was almost everyone that applied. We just selected at random, and it ended up being like 50-50 people we knew and people we didn't know, which was awesome. And it was like a real range of people too. Like there were some like full-time professional musicians who like toured and recorded a bunch. And then there was like a high school student who like my friend Greta, who shout out to Greta, like she wants to be an engineer. And I was like, the fact that there is in the world a 16-year-old girl whose ambition is to be an audio engineer, like that wouldn't have even occurred to me when I was 16.
No. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which it's cool. So Carolyn and I have like so many ideas for like, we want to do more versions of this. We want to do like more special. And I'm so happy with how it went. I could talk about this for 1,000 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, really
empowering the next generation of producers and engineers.
Yeah. And I learned a lot too. I mean, you know, I have a lot of recording experience and I've done some like producing, but I'm not really an engineer. And so I learned a lot from the workshop as well.
You can become one. Okay, I want to go around and hear everybody's weirdest moment on tour this year.
We're all making thinking faces.
The 1,000-yard stairs.
I'm like, think of good weird, something good weird.
Okay,
think of something
so sorry.
good weird.
I will take that back. What's your favorite show you played this year?
Oh, mine, no question.
Go.
I mean, I didn't tour as much this year as I have for the past bunch of years, so I have kind of a smaller sample to pick from. But my favorite show that I played this year was with Carsie Blanton, the
Shout out.
queen, the legend.
Yeah.
I
Shout out.
am just so excited to be in her band. I love playing with her so much. So we played a show. We did a tour in May, and we played a show in DC. And Carsie always has a lot of like activists and organizers at her shows, but in DC, understandably, you know, right in the heart of the belly of the beast. And it was also when like a lot of federal workers had just lost their jobs. So like at a lot of the other shows on that tour, it felt like we, the band, were like coming to the show, like creating a certain energy and like inviting the audience to meet us there. For those of you who don't know, Carsie, she writes a lot of protest songs. She's one of the only like, I think she writes better protest songs than almost anyone else. It's a hard thing to do really well, and I think she's so good at it. But anyway, like, so all of her shows always kind of feel a bit like a political rally. But this show in DC, it was like the audience was already there. We didn't actually need to do anything. Like the energy there was so intense, and it felt like, and based on like talking to people after the show, this was confirmed for me. Like they really needed to feel a sense of like catharsis, and they needed a place to like both release their rage and like to experience the validation of being in a room with 400 people who feel the same way that they feel, and to also try to cultivate some sense of hope. And Carsie and I both cried on stage during that show.
Wow.
It was really, really amazing. And it made me feel really lucky. And it made me feel like I am, you know, using my powers for good.
Yes, ma'am.
That's beautiful.
Kaïa, favorite show this year?
Oh, well, maybe nowhere near Isa's. I did not cry on stage, but I did really enjoy playing Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival with actually aforementioned friend of the pod, Carolyn Kendrick, played fiddle with me, and Andrew Ryan played bass, and it was
Legends.
Great. And you know, Hardly Strictly, it's a pretty legendary fest, and I think you know, my particular relationship with bluegrass music is I've always loved bluegrass music, and I've always been going to bluegrass festivals. But you know, maybe that is not super like known. And so whenever I get invited to play like a festival like Hardly Strictly, it just makes me feel like I'm like part of the canon of like songwriters who are bluegrass adjacent. And, you know, I think there's complicated relationships with, you know, festivals whom we like want to be a part of it, but then we also sort of don't feel like we don't want to need their approval in order to feel like we are legitimate. But, you know, it stands to reason that it's always nice when you do get that nod. And I really felt like I was treated like a full and complex artist. I was put on the right stage. I was booked well. I was treated well. And
that's not nothing.
Yeah, I also got to go to San Francisco for the first time and see some sea lions. Yeah,
we got the pics. Those sea lions were cute.
Pics to prove it.
Yeah.
Olivia, what was your favorite show this year?
I mean, I put a record out this year, and that meant that there was a lot of touring and a lot of, like, I feel like my music career leveled up a bit this year.
Goddamn right.
It is literally hanging on my wall, so I would say that if I had to pick, I did a record release show in Brooklyn that was sold out and was amazing with the one and only Lizzie No. And that was amazing.
That show was crazy.
It was crazy. But I finally got to play Mountain Stage in West Virginia, where I'm from.
Woo!
Oh God, I almost just knocked my laptop over just thinking about it.
Careful.
I've wanted to play Mountain Stage for years. I've like never really known how to go about it. I finally like figured out the right combination of emails to send to get it at the time. Also, I think this is the last show I booked where I had absolutely, like, it was still just me. Like, I have a little bit of a team now, but I did this one totally on my own with like, everything was secured and in place before I had a team.
You legend.
That's awesome.
And Mountain Stage we'd been going back and forth for several months on dates, and they'd had me sort of as an alternate for a few that fell through. And I remember I sent one email that was a little snarky about it, and he came back and was like, it's okay. I think you're really going to like the lineup we have. And I played to a sold out room at the Culture Center with the Warren Treaty, Johnny Swim, and Jeff Tweedy.
Wow.
Who, I don't know if Jeff is a listener to the pod. Jeff, I could not even look you in the eye on that day. And then I was at Newport and once again could not do it. So
That's a
that
nice
was,
man, though.
He was it was not Jeff's thing. It was all me. His band was very sweet. I met them later at the Empty Glass, many of them, and they were all very kind.
Forever.
It was not Jeff. It was fully me. Could not. It meant so much. I like have been meaning to send an email to his management to be like, just so you guys know, I don't think it's Jeff's job to make my day, but that was the best day of my life. And my very best friend Caroline's son Milo was in the audience. My mom and a bunch of her cousins were there. I like said my grandfather's name on stage, and there was like a hoot and a holler from all of the rights in the audience. It just felt like a homecoming. And I met Kathy Mattea, who is a queen, and I would like to be my best friend. And I played that show with my touring band that I've had for years, and we've played like every kind of nonsense situation you can imagine, every kind of like roadside dive that exists between New York City and Nashville. And so to get to give them the gift of like being up on that stage with me felt like a thank you for hard work. My drummer, Kyle Andrews, and I met at 4-H camp in 1999.
Stop that. 4-H camp?
Yeah. Tyler Childress, bring us on the road. We
4-H
are so redneck and loyal to each other. We love each other. Anyway, that's my pitch. Jeff Tweedy, be my friend. Tyler Childress, let me open for you.
Hairstyling, hellacious booty, and her.
Hearth and home. And her.
Head, hands, heart, and health. I can't joke about 4-H, not even on this podcast.
What is it?
It's head, hands, heart, and health.
Oh.
The fourth
so husbandry isn't involved?
Husbandry, no.
Wait, I love that.
You really
I never
think it
knew
was
what the
husbandry?
4-H's stood for. That's actually so sweet.
Head, hand, I could sing the song.
Please do it now.
I make my pledge, I take my stand, and each day it means more. And from now on, for all my life, I pledge the H's for. It's a little culty.
Stop! No, I
the
like
fourth
it.
H, we've gotten so off track.
No, it actually is a perfect lead-in because my favorite moment with my band this year was handing these gentlemen who have been with me through some amazing shows, very fancy festivals, and then some horrific situations, getting to hand them their luck rings on Willie Nelson's ranch.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
I will never forget. I will never forget rising above my body in the chapel and going from, ZZ Top to Mahalia Jackson, as I try to do. I'm so proud to be part of this very great group chat because not only are you all pursuing your musical dreams and curiosities in such unique and earnest ways, but you all are hot as well. And I love when you share your weightlifting pics. I love being able to vent to women who just get it, whether I'm in a contract negotiation or at a gig or just like want to share the highs and lows of life on the road. Because I feel like this life that we've chosen, you have to make your own path. There's no like easy road. There's no formula. There's no prescribed female role in this world of music. So we're just making it up. And I'm so proud to be able to do it with all of you.
I fell in love with being a fangirl again this year. Like this group, I fangirl over my friends so much. But then also I was like, yeah, I do love X artist and Y artist. And I am going to like, I don't know, go to the opening of their bar and openly sob in the front row while they play music. You know?
We're talking Lucinda, aren't we? We're talking Lucinda.
But like this, I think my reaction to the cynicism of this year has been to be like, I love my people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love the stuff that I love so hard.
Mm-hmm. One of the artists that I love that I think had a huge year that I don't want to end without mentioning is Yasmin Williams.
Yeah.
Her album, Acadia, came out last year, I believe, but she was touring heavily in support of it this year. She did dates with William Tyler, and she faced down Rick Grinnell, the demon head of the Kennedy Center, like with such grace and clarity. And I think we are definitely seeing Yasmin's white counterparts get way more clout for their anti-fascist work. But I think Yasmin is one of those musicians who is so plugged into what's going on in DC and so undeniable and outstanding as a guitarist that she is really shaking things up. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was the year of Yasmin and Carsie for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Totally agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's who blew my mind. And Ken Pomeroy, like that record. Ooh!
That record is hot.
Man,
she's so
I'm
good.
really behind on my listening.
I sing Rango to my dog.
That's what I'm taking from this conversation is that I am behind on my listening.
Hilly's number one song of this year was Rango. Come here, Hilly.
I think my number one song was probably Under the Cover of Light by Ken Yates. I am such a Ken Yates stan, like a Turna fan. God bless Canada.
Oh, Canada. I need to listen to Ken Yates. That's what I'm taking from this conversation.
He's playing at Public Records tonight in New York City, Kaïa. Not at the time of the recording of this podcast.
We're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Sorry, I forgot. We're not just in the group chat.
Okay, we're still recording. Okay, we should go. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivals of Lights. Happy Krampus. Happy New Year. Happy 2026. Don't let the bastards get you down. We love you. This is Basic Folk.
We love you.
Hey, and a big shout out to Lizzie. Thank you for hosting.
Yeah.
This.
Oh, of course.
This episode of Basic Folk was produced by C.J. Nungesser. Dietrich Strauss composes our music. Basic Folk is a production of The Bluegrass Situation. You can find all of our episodes there. You can search for Basic Folk on the SiriusXM app. You can find us at folkalley.com and Folk Alley's mobile app, basicfolk.com, or you can listen wherever you get your shows.
Send this episode of Basic Folk to the person in your life who had mixed feelings about Paul Thomas Anderson's latest movie.
Is that the one with Alana Hayim?
No, that was 2 ago. But see, this discourse reveals that they need to hear from us.
Truly. Thanks for listening all the way to the end. Love you. Happy New Year. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.